Unscripted, unfiltered, unafraid. Welcome to the Macworld Podcast. My name is Michael Simon, and I am joined by Jason Cross.
Good morning.
And our producer, Roman Loyola.
Oh, hi there.
This is episode number 969. And if you're a sports fan, even if you're not, I guess, it's kind of a major thing no matter what. It's the Super Bowl on Sunday. And so we're going to talk about how that, like the history of it with Apple, because it's a like non-sports fans probably think of Apple when they think of the Super Bowl, and they haven't had a ton of involvement, but what they've done has been somewhat monumental. So we're going to talk about all that. We'll talk about the history. We'll talk about what's going on this year, whether we should expect anything, and we're going to have a what we're watching on Apple TV segment, and close with our new comment corner. Speaking of comments, you can contact us through Blue Sky, Facebook, Threads, search for Macworld, look for the Blue Mouse logo, send emails to podcast@macworld.com, send an email to one of us, comment under a video, comment under a post, whatever, and we'll find them and we'll talk about them on a future show. All right, Roman. So where the heck is the M5 Pro and MacBook Pro? You told me it was coming out last week.
Yeah, that's what I told you. Yeah. That's what happens when you make stuff up. You just
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. Well, so we had a report come out over the weekend that Bloomberg's Mark Gurman said that they're basically sitting in a warehouse, ready to go.
Yeah,
they're ready to go. Someone just has to push a button, pull the trigger, whatever you want to say. And apparently, that trigger is the Mac OS 26.3 update.
right.
Yeah, Gurman says that once that is released, then the MacBooks, the M5 Pro and M5 Max, MacBook Pros should follow sometime after that.
Yeah, and it's not like 26.3 is any big deal. Like,
No.
It's done. It's in the third beta. There's nothing really majorly new in it. And we thought, all right, maybe we'll get a release candidate this week. We didn't yet. It's Tuesday. So this is Tuesday. This could all be moot, and there could be a brand new MacBook Pro on the website tomorrow morning, which means you can click the little 30-second button and go past this. But it's been 4 months since the M5, and almost 4 months. I think it was like the middle of October. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, that seems like a long time between.
They've done this before, right? Like they've had it.
Have they? They have like the actual chip and then the smaller chip, or they've done the actual chip and then the higher end.
Yeah, they've had a gap between, haven't they? Didn't
I know the M4
come out?
Like the M4, the M4, the base M4 came out, and then the M4 Pro and Max followed, and then there was that thing where we're like, "Where's the M4 Ultra?" And they didn't come out with an M4 Ultra.
They never came out with that, yeah. So the M4 came out in the Mini and the iMac.
Right. And the M4 came out in May, and then it was November until we got the Pro and Max. And that's this long, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I guess, but it's just weird that it's the MacBook Pro came out. The M5 MacBook Pro came out. And now we're just waiting for the other versions. Like I remember the M1, obviously. They released that 13-inch MacBook Pro, and then it took like another it was like a year.
Well, yeah, there were no Pro and Max or anything like that for the M1, right?
Or maybe 6 months. I forget how long, but it was a little while before we got the variant processors. But this one is, I don't know. It seems weird to me.
I bet, and since I've been making stuff up, I'll make up some more stuff. I bet if Apple could, they would rename that base M series MacBook Pro to something else. Like, you can't call it the MacBook Mid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it sort of sits between the Air and what probably Apple considers the true MacBook Pros, the Pro and Max models.
Right.
So it's on, and it's,
you get the better screen and stuff, but otherwise, processing power, performance wise, it's basically
and it's only available in the 14-inch.
Right.
Like the 16 only has the Pro and the Max. So like the larger one is only So yeah, there is this weird disconnect, but in terms of like, I mean, they're just right on schedule in terms of releasing the basic chip, and then 6 months later releasing the bigger one, the Pros and Max. That's what they did. Not last year, 2 years ago with the M4s.
I guess, yeah.
It was just May to November instead of October.
So am I misremembering? Did the M4 MacBook Pro come out before the M4 Pro Max MacBook Pro, or was that just the iPad? I can't remember. But I hear what you're saying, Jim.
Yeah, regardless of what product it was in,
yeah.
the chip was just not. It was a 6-month gap between those chips being available. So they're just doing that again. If we get a release candidate of 26.3 this week, which those can drop as late as Friday. I mean, those come at weird times. Yep. Then the final release could be next week, and it could be any time this month that they just decide to update the website.
And there may or may not be a pre-order. Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes they put them up and you can buy them right away. Sometimes it's 3 days. Sometimes it's 10 days. Like, we don't know. So, yeah. And we don't also know if there's any, like obviously the processor. And Jason, you've written like Apple might do something a little different with the way you buy it, because it could be like you buy this amount of GPU cores and this amount of CPU cores, and you kind of mix and match. Just last week, Apple changed the way you buy a Mac on Apple.com to kind of separate everything into chips and hard drives and RAM. Like they always had that before, but you would choose between various configurations and then jump into it. Now it's just like you click in and then you start with, okay, it starts at $15.99 for the M5. If you want the M4 Pro, it's $19.99. You want the M4 Pro Max, it's $24.99, whatever. Yeah. So that could be like paving the way for this new way of buying or splitting up the chip.
Personally, I think, although this does sort of technically give them that capability, that's building a bunch of weird. They're not separate CPU and GPUs. They're packaged together in a single chip. They're just separate dies on an interposer and stuff like that. So they have to build a bunch of different versions of chips for you to mix and match. I don't think Apple's going to do any of that. I think that earlier reports that like that's going to be something you can do was based on a game of telephone where like that could be possible.
Right.
Technically, but I think Apple's just doing this to get better yields by breaking up the chips into smaller islands of chips and better heat dissipation by separating them out and having less concentration of the heat and everything. So, yeah, I'd be surprised if you could like really mix and match any more than you used to be able to. Like there would always be a version that was like 9 cores.
Right.
It's like a 10-core CPU, but like you could get the 9-core version and then you had to pay extra to get the 10th core, but that's just a 10-core CPU with 1 core disabled. Right. I think they're still going to do that, but I don't think that whole like, I want the GPU from this, but the CPU, I don't think they're going to do that. Like that's my guess is that's just not very Apple, and it's just like this explosion of different
like
chips they have to or just chips they have to get from the fab, because these are put on interposers at the fab and then like sealed and all that. It's just too much. I think they're not going to do that.
Yeah, you might be very well maybe right, especially now over the last like 6 months, like all these component cost and manufacturing issues have kind of ramped up and are starting to affect everybody. Mm-hmm. And if Apple's like, all right, well, you know what, instead of like 3 chips, we need like 50. Like that might not work. Yeah. Yeah.
And they have to guess like what volume they're going to need of different configurations and stuff. So I just don't think
that makes a lot of sense.
Necessarily.
I need to correct ourselves. The M4
already, we just started.
Yeah. We didn't, I guess I didn't have my coffee. The M4 lineup, the base, Pro, and Max was released at the same time, November of 2024. It was
earlier was the iPad, right?
Yeah, and the M2, the iPad M4 came out before the MacBook.
Yeah, that came out in May.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where we were talking, but they didn't clarify that. Yeah.
The M2 was kind of split. So the M2 base came out And then it was followed by the M2 Pro and the M2 Max later.
Right.
Was that the MacBook Air M2? Is that where it debuted? Like that was the redesigned Air, I believe. The show has gone from Super Bowl to MacBook.
no, the redesign was M3.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
But I didn't want to get too caught up on like which product they came out in.
Right,
It's still M4 came out in May.
Yeah.
And M4 Pro and Max came out in November.
Yeah.
Right.
And and regardless of which processor, they have split it before and released at different parts. We just got the specific ones wrong. So, but just to be, we're editors, we have to be pedantic about it. So,
So yeah, if you're listening to this and there is a MacBook on Apple.com that's new, it's because we're filming this. We are filming it.
Oh, we are filming this.
We're recording this on Tuesday, so I'm assuming there's no MacBook. I don't know if there will be, but all the rumors kind of say 26.3, which we haven't seen yet, and we'll see.
I think it's coming in
week.
I think it's coming in February, but I don't
do
necessarily think it's coming like this week. I think it's going to be, sometime in the next 3 weeks of the month.
Yeah. Okay. So Super Bowl. Super Bowl is Sunday. 6:30. Is that right, Roman? Around 6:30? I don't know. Something.
well, the thing is, there's like a whole
6:30 my time.
right, and there's like a whole hour before. So
Yeah, sure.
they always say it starts at 3:00, but it really the game itself starts at like an hour after or something like that.
Right. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance
Yeah.
and the national anthem and the flags unfurled and there's flyovers and
And all kinds of other stuff.
somewhere between 6 and 7 East Coast time. And so there's two kinds of people who watch the Super Bowl. People who are football fans. This year you got the Patriots against the Seahawks. And then there's people who just want to watch the spectacle and watch the ads. And, back when I was growing up, which was a little bit after the 84 commercial that we'll talk about, like the ads were like a big deal. Like you didn't know what they were. You had to like watch and sit in front of the TV. Now, I kind of hate that all these companies, like they put them on YouTube like a week before the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah. Even just, I don't know, 10 years ago, they would all they'd all be online, but they all put them online after the Super Bowl.
Right. I'm okay with that, of course.
And that I'm okay. That's okay too. But yeah, there was something missed about how even if you weren't interested in the thing, you would see these like really high production value ads, these really expensive ads that they spend a lot of. If you're going to spend all that money on the ad spot on the slot to air it, then you spend a lot of money on the ad. And so you'd see all these really cool ads that you've never seen before. They'd always be really creative or funny.
Yeah. And they were a surprise.
And they were surprised. And now it's just a bunch of like FanDuel and just like sports betting and crypto stuff and all this nonsense. It's so bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you need like, I don't know, $5 million for 30 seconds or something like that. Whatever it costs, it's an insane amount of money.
Yeah, Roman, can you look up what a Super Bowl spot for the 30-second spot costs this year?
Yeah. Okay.
But back in 1984, like Super Bowl ads they were, it was a thing. Obviously, it was a major event.
They cost a lot because it was the most
watching.
watched TV thing.
Right.
And you knew everyone was going to see that ad, right? You'd reach billions and millions.
But Apple was, I don't know if they were the first, but they were one of the first to really make like a big deal of it. So this ad ran, it was the first ad after halftime. So it was a few minutes into I think it was the first ad, so you had a halftime show.
That's the best spot too.
Who was, it's a very good time to be. Who was the halftime performer in 1984? Was it still that Up With People thing, or was it like a did they start doing the pop music stuff?
It was a bunch of BS, and it was a salute to the superstars of the silver screen.
Oh, it wasn't even
produced by Disney and Florida State University and all that stuff, and it was
up with people. A Super Bowl spot this year cost $8 million, according
$8 million
to
just for the time
that's like a
spot.
30-second spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not even like Jason was saying, the production you got to put into it. Like it's a big deal.
No, if you're going to
That's
spend
why-
$8 million for the spot, then you'll definitely spend $2 million on the ad.
Sure.
Because you'll have a cut down version that you use for the next 3 months and whatever. Yeah.
Right. Like there's like Pringles has Sabrina Carpenter, and there's a Jurassic Park ad. I forget who that's for.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
There's a whole bunch of them.
That's for Xfinity. Yeah, I saw that. That's what, like we're saying,
okay.
the Super Bowl isn't
Like
for,
there's no surprise anymore.
it's 5 days from now. We're already talking about the Super Bowl ads we saw.
Right. We saw.
We're from the future.
Back
It's terrible.
Back in 1984, it was on January 22nd, and Apple said, Roman, what like they said like after halftime, like, oh no, that was the next one. They didn't tease this one at all. I'm sorry. I'm mixing my lines here. That was the next year. This year, it it just ran. Like it was right after it. If you look on YouTube, you can find like the broadcast. Like someone has put up like the game is being played, and they go out to phase to back, and then Apple's ad comes on, and it was 60 seconds, and it's a 1984 parody. Everybody's seen it. It's like when you look at like lists of the best commercials ever, it's always one or two, and usually one. Like it kind of changed the game for commercials. It was like a mini movie, and there was intrigue, there was suspense, there was a desire to know what they were talking about. Yeah.
It is widely credited with sort of being the start of these kind of a new era of like Super Bowl ads being a big deal, not just being an ad you would run other times. There was that Coca-Cola ad with Mean Joe Green,
yes,
where the kid chose it. That was like 4 years before that. That was the only kind of example before that of like, did you see that Super Bowl ad? Like that was like where the Super Bowl ad made for the Super Bowl was like a big deal. But yeah, the 1980, from then on, like every year after that, everybody was like, well, now we have to do something like that Apple ad. Even if they were at a tech company, they're like, we're going to make a custom ad for the Super Bowl that's like fancy and,
What was interesting about 1984, aside from the production value, is that it was in a commercial that was for a product coming out like a week later. So it wasn't an ad that they were gonna like it was a preview for a product that no one had seen, and it wasn't something that was gonna run again. It was just for this one thing, like get everybody interested in what was to be the Macintosh, and then like I don't think anyone at Apple thought it would be this iconic thing where 40 years later we're still talking about it.
Yeah, it was 2 days. They went on sale 2 days later on the 24th.
Yep, that's right.
So yeah, it was just this like really well timed anticipation thing. And of course, remember this is in the days way pre-internet, even pre like BBSs and stuff like that. No, before Prodigy and CompuServe or any of those things. So, like if you wanted to advertise something, you either had to do it in like print or like a TV ad. You would produce it way ahead of time, and then it would go out to affiliate networks and stuff like that. You have to find a specific live event in order to do this kind of timed anticipation thing, which the Super Bowl was, right?
Yeah, it perfectly timed. I'm assuming Apple coordinated its Macintosh launch around that, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, extremely well timed. And, at the time, Apple wasn't a super well-known company. They were around.
Yeah, people knew of them, but
years. People knew who they were, but they weren't. It's certainly not like today, but even not like 20 years ago.
Yeah, the Apple II, it wasn't like in everyone's home, right?
So it was, people wanted to know what this Macintosh was.
It's funny we talk about the production values now, and at the time it was a lot for a commercial. But looking back on it now, it's really bad. It looks really low end and low rent. Like everything is so good now. Like CG has gotten so good that just a regular insurance commercial has perfect CG in it. Like everything is good. And so this is like, it's a small set and like it's filmed in what looks to be a very small room and everything.
Yep.
It was bad, but it's so iconic. Go ahead.
Yep. Ridley Scott, who did Aliens, Alien, the first one.
Right? Yes.
You're correct.
The first one.
Yes.
Yeah. He directed that.
James Cameron was Aliens.
James Cameron, right? Same thing with Terminator. He would, and then Cameron did too. So Ridley Scott directed the 1984 commercial, which I don't know what he got paid. I don't know if we can find that out anywhere, Roman. But
what he got paid, I don't know.
I haven't found how much he got paid, but I found that that commercial cost about $1 million to produce.
Okay.
And I've seen varying reports of how much a commercial slot cost in those days. I've seen reports that say $400,000, but I've seen other reports that say $525,000. I also kind of did the math, and if you were to adjust that for inflation, $525,000, adjust that for inflation is $1.7 million in today's dollars.
So they spent a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but I mean, now it costs $8 million.
Everything's inflation is higher than inflation.
And the audience is bigger now too. So,
yes, it's just true.
Yeah.
It was so iconic that just recently, just a few years ago, when Epic Games started their whole free Fortnite campaign and poked the bear deliberately to try to force a legal issue to get Apple to change its rules. They recreated that, but with Apple, the big face on the screen, the big brother was an apple with a bite taken out of it. It was all done in like Fortnite graphics and everything, because they know exactly what that means to people, right? What that ad means to people.
Right. It became a symbol. Like you see that big screen with the big head and the rows of people, you know exactly what they're talking about. And, so that was meant to represent IBM and the
IBM was Big Brother
computer company. Yeah. And, Macintosh changed the game. That commercial changed. It really put Apple on the map. Like people knew who they were, but this was the thing. This was the moment. And, whoever came up with that commercial, is a genius, because it was perfect, for the message they wanted to attach to the Macintosh. I'm sure Steve Jobs had a major hand in it, but it was just perfect, brilliant marketing. So they wanted to do it again. So the next year, almost exactly a year later, this time they teased it. They took out ads in the paper and told people that during the fourth quarter, they were going to run a new ad. So the Macintosh had been on shelves for, I don't know, 10 months or so, about a year, and it was selling well. Apple had some momentum. People were still talking about 1984, and they wanted to, I guess, duplicate that, but they didn't at all.
No,
most people listening to this probably have never even heard of. So it was called Lemmings, and it was produced in a similar sort of vibe, where it was this dystopian world, maybe marginally in the future, and it was a bunch of people who were mindless and listening to this really kind of freaky version of Hi Ho from the movie Snow White, and it was to advertise something called Macintosh Office. And the message was that you can either follow the crowd and use, I guess it was IBM Office or whatever was the popular Office suite of software at the time, or you can use our version of things. And it was just creepy in all the wrong ways. Like it didn't hit like 1984 did.
And it wasn't advertising a product that everybody watching the Super Bowl wants to hear about.
Right.
Like it was Office software. Like what?
That's a good point.
Like it's not
right. It wasn't for like your home. Like the Macintosh was meant to be the first personal computer. Like buy it and bring it home. You're right. It's a weird audience to sell business software to. Also,
Right.
it's not exciting. It's not sexy. Like
It's not cool.
like
yeah.
yeah. And so they got Tony Scott to direct this one, who's Ridley Scott's brother, who's also it's not like he's like a nobody, like he's a director in his own right, but it's just an amusing tidbit that I guess they couldn't get Ridley Scott. Maybe he was working on something else, so they got his brother to direct it. And to make matters worse, not only was the commercial universally panned, as far as I know, Jason, maybe I'm wrong, Macintosh Office never even came out. Like it like bits and pieces of it did.
I don't know,
but it didn't. I don't think it ever. Hold on, let me look. Roman.
I mean, in 1985, I was 11, so it wasn't on my radar. Like it's yeah.
So I just pulled up the Wikipedia. And it says in January 1985, with the poorly received 60-second Super Bowl commercial dubbed Lemmings. In the end, the file server would never ship, and the Office project would be canceled. However, Apple Talk, which came out, I don't know, 5 or so years later, and then the laser writer printer would be hugely successful down the road. But they were teasing a product that I guess wasn't finished, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's not Apple's game.
Not usually. That has bitten them on occasion.
A couple of times, but not in major Super Bowl commercials.
No, but, like most recently, all that Siri stuff that wasn't ready and didn't get ready. But then there was was it AirPower?
AirPower,
Yeah, where they actually got on stage and talked about it and showed it and all that stuff. And
showed it off.
And they could never get it across the finish line. So, but that doesn't happen very often. And like you said, not a Super Bowl ad.
No, it's just a weird, the whole thing was just a debacle.
Yeah.
And, coming a year after 1984, I'm sure people really noticed at the time. Like, so I'm looking up, it was Super Bowl, what's XIX? 19?
19.
Yeah.
Yeah, 19. So the game was 38-16 in the fourth quarter. So if you were still watching at that point, you wanted to see the Apple commercial. And it went from being like the greatest commercial of all time to being probably one of Apple's biggest flops.
Yeah, the biggest snapback. Nobody's heard of it. It was for a product that didn't ship. Like everything wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, Apple, like we said, was not the size of company it is today.
That's right.
In terms of anything, cultural impact, size, anything like that. So it wasn't that big a deal. Like, it wasn't like if that kind of thing happened now where they advertised
it would be all over
Super
the place.
Bowl
Right.
it would be in the front page of every like business section of everything about how did they let this flop and this debacle happen and didn't even ship the product and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. Right. They probably forgot about it by Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. Nobody cared.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're right. If can you imagine Apple on Sunday does an advertisement for some new iPhone and it never comes out? And that'd be like a 3-year story.
Yeah. Like a weird, creepy ad, and it's for like the iPhone Fold, and then the iPhone Fold never ships. Like that's yeah.
So it was so bad, Apple just abandoned Super Bowl ads for 15 years.
Oh, man.
15 years later, they did an ad called HAL, which if you're a fan of 2001: A Space Odyssey, you'll know that's the computer, the computer system from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Kubrick was allegedly, like, he gave them their blessing to use the likeness, like it wasn't like stolen property.
Right.
And it was basically a commercial to say like Y2K is coming, and you might have heard all these reports about computers breaking down and they can't handle the change from 99 to 2000, but Macintoshes don't have that problem. Like, they're going to keep working no matter what.
That was the idea.
They'll be fine.
Yep.
That was the ad. It was clever. I was in college maybe when I saw that, I think. I don't remember. But it was a clever ad. It was a good ad. It played to their strengths for sure. It wasn't advertising a product. per se, more of like Apple's superiority over.
Yeah, it was the
rest of
brand.
computing
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
But of course, at that time, the only product they made were personal computers, really.
Right. Yeah, right.
So it
the
was.
iPod was still 2 years away at 99.
Yep.
So they really only made Macs, right? But the iMac had come out a year earlier, and they were starting to kind of claw back from the brink of bankruptcy, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure this commercial cost a fortune, and, not so much a gamble, but it was, I'm sure, it was a decision they had to make. Like, do we want to spend this much money on a Super Bowl commercial right now? It didn't have as much notoriety as 84, but, people talked about it. I remember my friends, noticing it and talking about it. Like, 2001 was, at the time, I think it was like, it had like a comeback of sorts amongst culture. I don't remember, but it was a good commercial. That was it, right? Like, they never had another one. They had 3.
Another what?
Another
Super Bowl?
commercial.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the whole list. I mean, it would not surprise me if they had ads run in the Super Bowl that weren't for the Super Bowl. Like the iPod silhouette ads were everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't shock me if they ran one of them during the Super Bowl during that time. It wasn't made for the Super Bowl though, right? It was already existing ad, like that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So I have a list here.
Oh, of all their Super Bowl ads?
Those are the 3 that were created for the store
Right.
that ran during the Super Bowl.
Okay.
In 2004, there was a Pepsi ad. So Pepsi teamed up with Apple to sell or promote rather iTunes, and there were like codes under the cap when you bought 2 liters of Pepsi. And there was an ad promoting that, which involved Macs and talked about iTunes. So that's kind of tangentially related to Apple. I remember going to stores back then, and if you like looked under the thing,
you could tilt the bottle to see
like,
if there was a code or not,
If
and
there
if there
was
was
a
a code, you would buy that one.
Right.
Of course, iTunes was on Windows too at that time.
That's true.
But it was they gave away. I think the giveaway was a total of something like 100 million songs or something. You would get a song.
Yeah,
is
sure.
what the code was for, a free song download.
Yeah.
And there's some people out there who spend enough money on Pepsi to get a few dozen songs by the time that promotion was over.
I got
it was really
some.
popular.
The ad featured a Green Day covering "I Fought the Law." It featured kids that were like targeted by Napster for sharing songs, and they were talking about. And they didn't talk about anything, but it was like showing them like downloading legal music now. Like that was a whole thing back then with Metallica and Napster, and they were fighting people who were sharing their songs. Yeah, and now Apple Music is the sponsor of the halftime show. That's
and weren't they last year as well?
2023. Yeah,
were they last year?
2023 was the first one. That was Rihanna. The second one was Usher. Yeah. The third one was Kendrick Lamar was last year, and this year is Bad Bunny. Pepsi had it for a long time before that. I want to say at least a decade. So I'm assuming Apple has it for several more years, and I'm sure it's great promotion for Apple Music because people watch the artist and then they go download or listen to a bunch of songs and they see Apple's branding all over the place. So I got to assume it's great for them leading up to it and leading out of it.
I wonder
as promotion for the service goes.
Yeah, I wonder, at this point, I wonder how many people watching the Super Bowl just kind of like unaware of Apple Music, and
maybe
like, is there a spike in subscriptions or something following the Super Bowl? I wonder. I'd love to see that data.
Yeah, they never talk about stuff like that. I mean, services has gone up every single quarter, pretty much steadily, 15% or so. So there's you don't see like a bump in the January, February quarter or whatever. But I mean, it's got to be right a little bit. Tiny.
I don't know,
because they offered 3 months free. Like right now, if you sign up, you can get 3 months. That's part of the Bad Bunny promotion. They have a whole bunch of tie-ins leading up to it with interviews and playlists and things like that. So
yeah,
my guess is that it pays off. I mean, their branding's all over the place. I got it. So I'd love to know, and Roman, I don't think you can find this, but like, first of all, what did Apple pay to have the rights? And do they, does the sponsor pay for like the production? Like, does Apple pay for Bad Bunny's like stage setup?
I don't think that.
I don't know how any of that.
As far as I
works.
understand, it doesn't work that way. I mean, like it. You could say it. They do because they pay the NFL a ton of money for like a 5-year contract to sponsor the halftime show, and they get their marketing all over it. And then the NFL spends all that money on the thing. But I think the NFL just pays for all that halftime show.
Sorry.
Yeah, that maybe. Yep.
According to the Sports Business Journal, when the Rihanna show was the first year of a 5-year deal worth about $50 million per year to the NFL. So Apple was paying $50 million for $50 million per year. So about $250 million. Apple paid back in 2023.
Wow. So $50 million a year. That's more than enough to produce the show.
Well,
that's a lot of dough.
I know it's been reported in the past that the performers of the halftime show don't get paid at all.
Right.
And it's up to them to determine how to produce the show and stuff. The NFL just says, you get the privilege of having this audience. So, if anything, you should be paying us. But, that's
right.
But yeah, I know the performers don't get paid. So I don't know if Apple helps pay. They must, because they're kind of expensive. If you ever watch like the recent ones, they're kind of expensive to put on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The production it's like a mini arena show.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I don't want to call them extras, but there's like dancers and stuff like that. There's just like a huge number of people. And I have to imagine that they get paid from someone, whether it's the artist's thing or the sponsors of the halftime show or whatever. Like, even if the NFL doesn't pay them, I don't think that they're necessarily doing all that for free because they don't get any marketing out of that. Like, I was that guy over there carrying those light sticks and running around and jumping. Like, you're not.
Right.
Apple
films it, obviously, and then puts it up on Apple Music like the next day or maybe even later that day. The production is excellent, but it generally is. But I feel like it's like their cameras and their production values are excellent. So if it's 5 years, next year is the last one that they're contracted to
till 28. Right? From 23 to
24, 25, 26, 27, because it's a 5-year contract that started. So the 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Yeah. 20.
Next year will be the last one. And 28 will have someone new. Okay.
Unless Apple re-ups. I haven't seen any reports of extending a contract or anything like that.
Yeah,
we probably won't know until.
Yeah.
It'll be right. After next year's Super Bowl, they'll start talking about who's going to sponsor it. I mean, I'm sure they have a whole bunch of them lined up who want that gig because, it's probably the most watched 10 minutes of television. Even people who don't watch Super Bowl are gonna watch the halftime show.
Yeah, people tune into the halftime show specifically. I know our neighbors did that. $250 million our neighbors had a Super Bowl party and the game was on, but nobody really was watching the game. And then when the halftime came on, everybody stopped and watched the halftime show.
Right. Right. My brother's like that. Like he doesn't give a damn about football, but he'll always watch and talk to me about the halftime show. So it's definitely worth it to Apple. $250 million is a ton of money, but
over 5 years, that's a rounding error for
Apple. Yeah.
They spend tens of billions of dollars on stock buybacks every quarter. Like this is nothing. So, yeah. Apple, of course, is kind of famous. They've won a lot of awards over the years for ads in general. Their ads have won a ton of stuff. Not all Super Bowl ads, of course. Right. Do you have a favorite?
I do.
You have what do you remember as your favorite?
My favorite Apple ad. There's been a bunch that I've liked. Like you brought up the iPod silhouette ads. Like that was I remember specifically like the M&M one with yourself. Like that was fantastic.
That was kind of funny. The M&M one.
Yeah. But my favorite ad was a Christmas ad from I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. So every year they come out with a holiday themed ad, just to kind of. It's like usually heartwarming. This one was a teenager who was it showed a bunch of scenes of a family, and within that family there was a teenager, and he was always on his phone, and looked like he was not participating in whatever the family was doing, like they were building a snowman or shopping for a Christmas tree or driving in a car. He was always on his phone, and then it's Christmas morning at the end of the ad. And everyone gives out their presents, and he's sitting there and he's doing his phone stuff. And then, so the TV goes on, and he projects from his phone onto the TV. And it turned out the whole time he was filming his family, and he created this movie, an iMovie, and everybody hugs him. And it's it used Apple products throughout, obviously,
right? And and advertise how easy it is to make your own movie.
Exactly right,
right there.
But it was a very clever and a very as a father, it was endearing.
Constantly telling everyone to put their phone down.
Sticks out in my all the time.
Yep. Try to be here. Try to be present where we are. Put your phone down.
But
Roman, do you have a favorite?
It's probably the Crazy Ones ad.
Okay,
that one was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, that was like the first ad that came out after Steve Jobs returned, I think.
That was the Think Different ad campaign.
Yeah.
Kind of kicked off that. It was famously a print run for probably at least 5 years.
Yeah.
And they would show various figures in entertainment and history and science and engineering and whatever else. And they would have a little Apple logo in the corner that said Think Different, as if to say, like, these people were able to do what they did because they thought outside the box and used Macs.
Yeah. And I was already working as an editor at that time, and it drove all of us nuts because we would scream at it like, it's supposed to be Think Differently. Think Different is wrong. Right. Like we were just like, it doesn't have the same ring to it, but like grammatically. Anyway.
Yeah.
But so the original ad that Roman, I assume the one you're talking about, it was like a whole poem. Here's the crazy ones,
the long version.
Yeah. And it was, they showed like Bob Dylan. Later ones had Jerry Seinfeld, like popular, somewhat avant-garde figures. And I'm pretty sure Albert Einstein didn't use a Mac, but it's fun to connect him to it.
My favorites.
Jason,
favorites were like the. I won't say it's a single ad. I loved the name of the ad campaign was, I think, Get a Mac, but it was the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC ads with John Hodgman and Justin Long, and I was working when those all came out at a computer gaming magazine. I was not a Mac guy at all. We were all very affronted by the false messaging of it. Like don't tell me Macs don't get viruses, or that every PC's like the word. But they did. Everybody loved John Hodgman. Like the secret sauce of that was that the villain of the ad was the far more likable one. Right? No shade to Justin Long, but he just kind of stood there with his hands in his pockets, like, I can hook up to this camera, right? But John Hodgman was doing all the work, and he was so entertaining. So that was a very big series of ads. There were 30 or something ads like that. But
it was very simple against a white screen. Them usually standing next to each other. Yep. Hodgman was in a full 3-piece suit.
Yeah, a very boring beige suit, like brown suit, right?
And Justin Long was, just kind of a regular cool guy.
Yeah,
with
just jeans and a long sleeve
you know,
shirt, just like, hey, you know, I'm a PC. I mean, like I'm a Mac.
Yeah.
And each one focused on like a particular feature area, like how easy it is to create a photo book with a Mac or whatever. So those kind of things. Like this guy's great with spreadsheets, but I do all the life stuff. That was the vibe.
Right.
I found out recently that there was a series of these in the UK with different people.
Oh, yeah.
That had David Mitchell and Robert Webb as the Mac and PC. They're great.
Okay.
You should look these up on YouTube. They might even be better than the Hodgman and Long thing. Some of them were kind of the same. They don't have the exact same script, but they were about the same features and like the same idea. And some of them were a little different. But there was a whole. They did at least a dozen of them in the UK with those two, and they're endlessly entertaining. And you could find them if you dig around on YouTube.
There are also Japanese versions.
Really?
Yeah.
With different people?
Yeah. So I actually wrote an article, I'm almost embarrassed to say, 9 years ago, which actually is longer than that because the last time it was updated was 9 years ago.
Oh, right.
And yeah, it includes the list. It was the list of my favorite Apple ads. And it includes one of the Get a Mac ads that was done in Japan. So
I'll have to look those up. I probably won't recognize the actors who are the Mac and PC guys. Because you want comedians or comedic actors. Like that's the whole point and stuff. But I wouldn't know who any of those people are from Japan. But yeah.
I don't know if it was before or after, but there was a Switch campaign that was filmed in like a similar style or a similar vein where it was a white background and there was like a little song that played over it. And if you remember that there was one with Ellen Feist and everyone thought she was stoned and she became like an internet celebrity for a little while. I can't remember if it was before. I think it was after the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC ads. But that was another one that was clever. They don't really do that anymore.
The Get a Mac ads, the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC ads were so popular that more recent ads have run with like Justin Long using a PC, banking on the fact that like he's the
People
Mac
remember.
guy.
Yeah.
And now he uses PCs. Like that's his whole, they assume you've seen one of those ads or many of them.
Yeah. Apple's gotten so big and popular now. Like they don't need to do, like their ads are like,
they're very boring
ads for like iPhone features. Like boring. They had the one for Siri was the last ad campaign they did. That never even came out. That was with I always forget the actress from Last of Us. I don't remember. I always forget her name.
Oh, I can't remember. My brain keeps saying Ellie, but that's the character.
Right. Yeah.
She's in a lot of stuff. She's very great. She's great. Yeah, they did that ad. They've done AirPods ad with like, directed by Spike Jonze where like people go down the street and they're depressed and they put their AirPods in cool. And they feel happy.
Like beats. Yeah. Those were cool.
But like you said, it doesn't stick to you.
They do a holiday one every year.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't.
They're just different now. They're more sanitized. They're not risky.
Yep.
Just kind of the way it goes. Roman, what's that actress's name? Please,
Bella Ramsey.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that one sticks in the mind specifically because it was advertising features that never came out.
That's the
like if that didn't happen, I would have forgotten about those.
That's true.
Like they had The Rock doing all the Siri stuff too. I don't really remember that ad, but he goes through his day.
Did they?
He goes through his day and he has Siri do all this stuff for him while he's doing like he's a top chef and then he's doing this fitness thing and then he's shooting this scene and then he's scuba diving, whatever. He's doing all these different things and he's just having Siri do all this stuff for him, like the way he talks to it. There was when Siri first came out, there was the one with there were several memorable ads. My wife and I still quote the one with Zooey Deschanel where she's like, "Is that rain?" Like it's so obviously raining, and she asks Siri if it's raining.
That was like the best thing that I did. I mean, in some ways, it still is.
And then Martin Scorsese's in a cab, and he's talking to Siri in one, and stuff like that. I kind of remember those commercials.
Yeah. So this year, it's almost confirmed that there won't be a commercial. Like Apple's not going to do a commercial. But
They're doing a halftime show, man. That's their commercial.
The Bad Bunny halftime show is probably more controversial than Apple wants it to be, due to he's from Puerto Rico and he sings in Spanish, and he's not there's a whole he's very anti-Trump and administration stuff and ICE, and it's a whole flashpoint that I'm sure Apple would rather not be a part of.
Just had the Grammys and he just came out there and in his acceptance speech made it a little bit political, which
it was a little bit political, yeah. And then he won Record of the Year or Album of the Year, and so listen, there's no such thing as bad publicity, but I'm sure Apple would like it to be just a nice, friendly halftime show, and I'm sure it's not going to be. I have to assume there'll be some political stuff, and people
there's
will write
already
articles
a whole
about it. Like it's going to be a thing.
Yeah, there's already this whole there's going to be a Republican response to the halftime show. We're doing this now. We're really politicizing this much every time. So it's already a foregone conclusion that it's going to be a mess in that way.
Yeah. So maybe Apple will end its partnership after 5 years.
Yeah, maybe they're regretting the 5 year. 5 years they signed up for.
Yeah. So that'll be Apple's participation in the Super Bowl. We don't expect an ad for anything. Maybe the new MacBooks will be out by then.
That's all. No, wait, probably not. It's Sunday.
Well, they would have to come out
Sunday.
tomorrow. They'd have to come out tomorrow, which would
and they start shipping new everything's on Friday, so that it would be out, right? Like it would be.
Yeah. So anyway, commercials, Super Bowl, it all happens this Sunday, and if you're a New England Patriots or a Seattle Seahawks fan, there's also a game being played.
Wait, so you're in that area. Are you a Patriots fan? Are they your team?
So I worked at the Boston Herald for a long time, and I was never a fan of the Patriots, but I rooted for them because it was good for the paper. It sold papers whenever they won. So I was happy when they won.
Right.
This was 10 years ago, back when Brady was at the top of his powers.
Right.
I don't really have a football team that I regularly root for. I watch it, but
that would be your home team. There's no you're not near anybody else who got.
I'm as close to the Giants as I am to the Patriots. I'm in this weird corner of Connecticut where I'm almost 2 hours away from everywhere. We don't have a team. We don't have a professional sports team in Connecticut other than the Sun. Is that what they call it? It's a WNBA scene.
Connecticut Sun.
The Connecticut Sun. Yeah. But we don't have a sports team. So when I go with my son to watch baseball, we got to go up to the Red Sox. It's just the way it is. I don't expect Connecticut to ever have a sports team. Once the Whalers were gone, that was it. We're not getting anything else. Okay, Roman. This week, this week in Apple history is basically the Super Bowl. We just did it.
Yeah. So we don't have a dedicated This Week in Apple because we just spent almost an hour talking
back
about
in 1984.
32 years ago, 42 years ago. All right, so what we're watching on Apple TV. Let me bring up the article. Apple. So they won a couple Golden Globes, and a few weeks later they came out with the
Academy Awards.
Academy Award nominations. Thank you.
Nominations, yeah.
And they picked up quite a few. So let's go through that real quick.
There's three films.
Six total, yeah.
There's 3 films that were nominated. There's F1, Come See Me in the Good Light, and The Lost Bus.
Lost Bus was good.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I did F1. The surprise. It's not surprising that these big sort of action special effects things get nominated for those technical categories. That happens fairly frequently, like best editing or visual effects or sound or something like that. It is surprising that F1 got nominated for Best Picture. It's not the kind of movie that normally gets a Best Picture nomination.
Have you seen it, Jason?
I actually just watched it this past week.
Yep.
it's definitely a film that I think we'd be far more exciting on the big screen.
Sure.
Like all those race scenes, they're incredibly well, like they're shot, the way they're shot, they're very exciting, the pacing and stuff like that. But you lose a lot just looking at it, even on a large TV. Like the big screen experience for that was probably like a ride.
It was the most financially successful sports movie of all time.
Okay.
Largely for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Visually, it was really good. I can't imagine how it's a Best Picture nominee. It's a formulaic sports movie. It was fine. It was even good, but not. Oh my God, this is. I like Major League was a better sports movie than this.
It was put together by the same sort of team of producers and stuff that did Top Gun Maverick, and it really is Top Gun Maverick with F1 cars.
Similar story and all that. Yeah.
Like, similar story. The pacing, the like sort of character arc and stuff like that is very similar, and all. Like I get that best editing. The editing's great in that.
Sure,
like the way they keep the pace up,
special
and cut
effects
back
if you
and forth
want,
and all that stuff. Visual effects, best sound. Like again, I didn't see it in the theater. Just on my home setup, it was impressive. Like I bet it was incredible in the theater. But yeah, I don't see the Best Picture nom for that. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't. Especially lately they've been picking like a blockbuster to fill like the last slot. Like everyone knows it's not
right. They have twice as many slots for Best Picture. Right. They have. Is it 10?
I still think there's other ones to choose from other than that. Like Wicked, maybe. I don't know. I didn't see Wicked, but I don't know. Listen, great, good for Apple. They could say that they're a Best Picture nominee. That's great. And they won. They already won one.
I can't
for Coda.
See. That was for Best
several years ago. It was Best Picture.
Was it?
Yeah, they won for Coda.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
they won for
that
Coda.
Was that shocking award. It was during the COVID year or years.
The other movies, Come See Me in the Good Night's nominated for documentary feature film. They have a separate documentary short category. Yeah. And Lost Bus is also nominated for visual effects, so they're up against themselves in that sense. But that's it. Those ones are nominated. Like last year, they didn't get nominated for anything. So it's a step up.
Yeah, well, their movies are generally pretty terrible. Did you see Come See Me in the Good Light? Either of you?
Nope.
Yeah,
I did see Coda.
Coda was very good. F1, like it's good. It's fine.
It's fine.
Like if you like,
it's not a bad movie.
I encourage people listening to this to watch it. It's
I am
enjoyable.
not in 10 years going to be talking about F1.
Right.
Like I'm not like there's no. The award's going to go to either like Marty Supreme or Sinners, right? Like, but maybe Frankenstein
for Best Picture.
Yeah, for
maybe
Best Picture.
one battle.
Yeah,
another.
Probably one battle. That's actually on my list. But that's the kind of movie that I can see myself talking about. Like, I think F1.
It was really good.
If I saw that in the theaters, I'd be talking about it on my way out of the theater, and that's about it.
Right.
It's a good popcorn movie. It's fine.
Did you saw Sinners? Sinners was good.
I didn't.
I don't know if it's worth 17 nominations, but it's a good movie. I liked it. I saw One Battle After Another. That was real good too. But now we're straying from Apple TV. Have you seen Shrinking yet? Shrinking's back.
Oh, yeah. So that's the other thing. Shrinking's back. I'm super excited. I love that show. The first episode is great.
I haven't seen the new episode, but it's a great show.
It's great. They're just dropped right back into form.
Okay.
That did not miss a beat.
Good.
So I don't want to spoil it. I mean, we know my brain, the caffeine has not kicked in. I keep thinking Marty McFly. Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox is in this season.
Yep, they've teased that.
And there's a neat twist to the way. So
okay.
And I don't want to spoiler it because it's a neat thing, but it makes the first.
So he's in the first
even
episode, like immediately.
not like it's the opening scene, but he's in there. Yeah, he is in the first episode.
Cool.
And I assume further episodes as well. But he's a delight. Like the first scene he's in, my wife and I just turned to each other right after that scene and just went, I love Michael J. Fox. Like he's still so charming.
He's a good dude.
Like even in his current state, and he's playing somebody who has advanced Parkinson's. It's it works fine for him. But yeah, so
it seems to me like
it's
the only show that Harrison Ford like seems to enjoy making.
Like I think he's having a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's always kind of grumpy, but in this one, like he could really lean into his grumpiness. It's like the perfect role for him at this age.
Yep.
What else is that? Do you watch that hijack show?
No, I think you told me before that the first one.
The first season was excellent. I haven't watched the second one either.
The first one was filmed. I don't think it was meant to be a continuing show. I think it was meant to be like a mini series, and then they're like, "Oh, well, let's make another."
It certainly didn't end on a note that suggested there would be more of them.
Right. Yeah. No, there was no cliffhanger. There was no continuing. Right. And they just said, hey, let's do another one. And this time it'll be on a train. Like that's how it'll be different. And so, yeah, but I hear it's good and I like Idris Elba. I just need to put it on my list.
The first one's I'll have to check out the second one. What I want a second season of is, what was it called? Dark Matter. I don't know if I believe they're making it. I just don't know if it's coming out this year. That was an excellent sci-fi show that involved some like multiverse stuff, but it's really good.
I watched the first couple episodes of that and I could not get it hooked at all. Like I just felt like
there's a lot of things going on. Like actually, my wife and I watched it twice because there's a lot to grasp.
I felt like it manages to somehow be both slow and like confusing in the way that they try to make every multiverse show confusing. So I couldn't get into it. I am looking forward to the next season of Silo. I think that's going to come this year.
I haven't seen that.
And the final season of For All Mankind, which is excellent.
I haven't seen that either. I'm a terrible Apple TV watcher.
For All Mankind's just tremendous.
I know. I'm sure I'd love it.
And it's very hard science. It's science fiction because it's a world where something different happened and it changes the course of history, but it's all very hard science. It's all absolutely everything here could totally happen. Whoever's their technical advisors and stuff like that are very good about all this space stuff. It's really good.
Roman, are you watching anything?
I do watch Shrinking, but I like to I like to have the show stack up a few episodes before I watch them.
Yeah, my parents are like that.
Yeah.
They were talking to me the other night and they're like, there's nothing on TV to watch. I'm like, did you watch Shrinking? They're like, well, we can't watch it for like another 2 months.
Yeah.
The other one I want to let them all finish and then.
Right. Yeah. So I've been watching Fallout and The Pit. So
okay.
Those are excellent.
The Pit I gotta watch at some point. I've heard that's fantastic.
Oh, you haven't seen the first season of The Pit? Mm-mm. There's a fair number of them too. There's something like 16 or it's not a 10 episode thing. It's 16 or 18 episodes. Yeah, just don't eat while you watch it. There's some disturbingly realistic medical stuff.
It takes me forever
to
watch anything. We're just finishing Mad Men, which ended like 10 years ago.
Oh man!
Like
what a show!
We're like midway through season 7. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're just finishing that. Like it's so rare that we watch a show when it's La Pluribus we watched, and I was all disappointed in it.
My wife has been watching Chief of War on Apple TV. Okay. It's the show with Jason Momoa, and most of the show is in Hawaiian. So it's
not.
It is. It is because it's based on I want to say King Kamehameha, and So it's based on Hawaiian history, and so a lot of dialogue is in Hawaiian. And my wife has connection. I think we've spoken about this before. My wife has connections, roots in Hawaii, so she likes watching it. She's like, "Hey, I understood what they said a little bit." So yeah, but she's enjoying it. So it is violent, which isn't her cup of tea, but she enjoys the cultural part so much that it kind of she can sit through the violent parts. So
I'm still waiting for her to make me some of those little donuts.
Wait, there's little donuts on offer?
The malasadas.
Malasadas,
So,
they're Hawaiian donuts.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
They're one of the greatest donuts I've ever had, if not the best. They were close. So. All right. Comment corner, Roman.
So in comment corner this week, we've got one email from Ian I from Canada, who had some thoughts about the whole RAM situation and the price of RAM. Jason wrote an article a little while ago about how Apple could or could not be affected by the whole RAM price increase. Tim Cook even addressed it during the earnings call last week. Ian said, maybe a side effect is that we'll see less RAM requirement inflation on Macs. It feels like cheap RAM has allowed lazy developers to build bulky, inefficient apps for too long because they can get away with it as RAM specs keep improving. Will there finally be an incentive to rein in RAM use if people simply don't want to spend the extra money? He also said
that's a lovely thought.
Yeah,
that's a lovely thought. There is not a chance. And there's two things working against them there. One is obviously they're cramming AI into everything, and you have to have a stupid model loaded, or
right. If anything's going to get worse,
or it's at least a thing that like is going to connect to the internet for the whatever. The other is that everything's like an Electron app now, which is like basically a way to encapsulate a web app. Like we made our app's a web page, but we like encapsulate it into an app, and those are really inefficient because they load tons of like libraries and stuff that you'll never use. Your app may never use, so you end up with a very simple app like Slack that has like, why is my RAM requirement so huge for what is basically like a private IRC server? Like it don't even get me started.
Yeah, so developers may not clean up their code, but there's also the AI dependency that,
right.
If it's not one thing, it's another. Yeah. Ian I also said, you'll get that outro right one day, Mike. So he's offering some encouragement.
I sure hope not.
It's become a bit now.
I hear that all
of
Canada is rooting for me.
Yes. we got another message from Canada. It's from POV with RC. He said on YouTube, and this is in regards to ads on the podcast. Ads are a part of life, and I accept them. You guys do a good job. You've actually stolen me from MacBreak and Upgrade because you were completely apolitical and just talk about the subject called Apple.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Don't read any. Don't listen to any back.
Don't read the Macworld this week.
So maybe So sorry, POV. And then but Danny on Spotify had differing thoughts in regards to ad. Danny said, please no ads. One of the very few podcasts I can still listen to while going to sleep would no longer be an option if ads are added.
Are ads not soothing?
So, Danny says it can't relax to, but first ask your doctor about xylophone. So,
xylophone does sound like a drug name, doesn't it?
It does sound like you want to stay awake and listen to find out more about it. So, I mean, maybe. So, just to let people know, the ads. When we were talking about ads last episode, we weren't sure when they were going to be active or activated. Well, now they're activated.
They're active,
and from what we can tell, not everyone gets an ad insert because we were checking it out. And when we were checking it out, Like I was able to hear the ads, and some people who were checking weren't able to hear the ads. So I really don't have any idea of how that works. It sounds to me like it's purely random on who gets an ad and who doesn't. So
is there one or two ad inserts? I can't remember.
We're currently going with just one ad insert. And to let everyone know, to be completely transparent, we're placing the ad right after the main discussion.
Yeah.
So just to give people a heads up. So when we start going into the segments, that's you'll hear the first. Right. You'll hear an ad. We haven't figured out if we're going to do more ads or not, but for now, that's how the ads are going to work.
I got one for Hilton Hotels, and it was fine. Like it didn't really disrupt much. It was 30 seconds, maybe a minute. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like super related to what we talk about, but it wasn't like way off. I would like to do like ad readings on this show. I think that would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's stopping you. We won't get paid.
You can do them anyways. We just won't get paid. Yeah.
Wait.
It's your show, Mike. You can do what you want.
Lollipop soda.
So yeah. So those are that kind of wraps up Comment Corner for this week.
Well, thank you, Canadian listeners. I never think of the show being like global, but that's cool.
Well, North America, at least.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, all right.
I've gotten a few in the past. I've gotten a few emails from Germany about the podcast, and the funny thing is, they were written in German, so I had to figure out a way
to translate it.
So, yeah. So
did Siri help?
Siri did not help.
Or not Siri, the live chat.
Apple Intelligence.
I think this was
right.
This was a long time ago before Apple translation was a thing, so I had to use the web, some electron app that took up a lot of RAM. Bring it all around.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, the RAM thing. We won't go off on a tangent before the show ends, but like that's a real issue.
Yep.
Like I don't know. Hold on. While I'm talking about it, I have 36 gigs of RAM on this laptop, and I swear, like 32 of them are constantly in use. And I don't do, I have word processing programs, web browser, and this thing.
Memory in use is a tricky
I get it.
measurement because you want your RAM to be in use. It doesn't do you any good at being empty. So you want unquote unused RAM to be filled up with cache and stuff like that so that you can quickly access things, to preload things that you run all the time. What Macs have switched to is talking about like when you open the activity monitor and stuff, you'll see memory pressure, and that's a better sort of metric of like, do you need more RAM? Like, is your RAM constantly being swapped out for stuff because the active applications don't have enough? So,
pressure is good. Like I had a 8 or 16 gig MacBook, 13-inch MacBook Pro before this, and it was constantly getting like the memory pressure was in the red.
Yeah,
but as far as that goes, it's good, except for when I had all those spotlight issues. But that's
show. That's a whole other.
All right, that does it for this episode of the Macworld Podcast. That does it for this.
Already.
I already screwed it up. I haven't even gotten to the part I screw up with.
You'll get that outro right one day, Mike.
That does it for this episode of the Macworld Podcast, episode number 969. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roman.
Thank you, sir.
And thanks to you, the audience, all over the world, or at least North America, for tuning in. You can subscribe to the Macworld Podcast in the podcast app, on YouTube, on Spotify, in the Macworld Podcast channel, or through any other. YouTube. Come on. You can subscribe to the Macworld Podcast in the podcast app, on Spotify, or through YouTube on the Macworld Podcast channel, or through any other podcast app. If you have comments or questions, you can email us at macworldpodcast.com. You can contact us through Blue Sky, Facebook, Threads, comment on a photo, comment on a post, comment on an article, comment on a video, send us an email separately. And we will talk about it on a future episode of the podcast.
That's podcast at macworld.com.
What did I say?
You said macworld at podcast.com.
This is the worst outro I've ever done.
Ian put a lot of pressure on
We got
me.
in your head. Yeah, we got in your head earlier about it.
Join us in the next episode of the Macworld Join us in the next episode of the I'm going to get this line right because I'm going to read it word for word. Join us in the next episode of the Macworld Podcast as we talk about the latest in the world of Apple. See you next time.
Woohoo! See ya.